This is Andrea from Online Acoustics. Today I'm going to expand our SoundFlow tutorial videos, and we're going to basically create different absorption panels using SoundFlow. So we basically go to our structure over here, which is made of air. And let's say that I want to model the acoustic panel that I'm going to place in my studio. So I'm going to click over here, which is terminate with rigid back. And as you know, if you place air behind a panel, it increases the absorption. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put like 40 millimeters of a hair cavity over here, and then I'm going to expand, and I'm going to go to absorbers, and there's a bunch of options over here. This is German information from Rockwool manufacturers. They have like different products with different densities, and basically what matters most is the flow resistivity. So, for instance, let's put this one over here. And if you click on the structure, we have like a flow resistivity of 10 kPa, kilopascals, etc., which is a quite low value for flow resistivity, which implicates that it's a good material for absorption. So let's say that I'm going to put over here 80 millimeters, so 8 centimeters of material, and we need to put over here this, and here we have the absorption coefficient of our material. So as you can see, we have material with 0.85 alpha value, which is quite good. So we have almost optimized the absorption above 400 hertz. So 400 hertz, we have almost absorption values higher than 0.8, which is quite good. Let me see if I can adjust some of the information over here. I don't use this unidirectional information, to be honest. Usually I use diffuse field, which gives a more proper information. And for instance, we can adjust this to, let's say, something like this. So the smoothing, we could use 1/6 octave bands, which gives a more straightforward line over here. And so we have other information over here. This is in German. I don't. My great grandfather was German, but I don't speak German that well. So here it goes. And but they have some information about the materials, and they have links for the products. So this would be a good absorption material for an home studio, for instance. If we want to go even further, and we want to maximize the absorption at the mid-low frequencies. So if we want to have further absorption, let's say at 125 and 250 octave bands, we would have two options. So either we would increase the air absorption, and let me see if I can do something like this. Let me see if I can. I'm going to save the structure. I'm going to give it, let's say, I'm going to call it home studio example. And let's see if I can. Now I'm going to save it twice so we can compare. Okay, like this. Now I'm going to open the previous one. Sorry. So now we can compare two. We can compare two of them. So let me see. Okay. So we can go to this example, and we can increase the. So we can increase the air cavity, and here we have the red line, which was the previous example, and on the we have increased the air cavity, and we have gained further absorption over here. Okay, so basically something that is higher than 0.6, 0.7, we have good absorption values. These values over here, like 0.2 or 0.3, they don't matter as much. This is mostly, we are getting mostly reflective behavior from our materials. Of course, we can now increase the absorption, the thickness of the material, sorry. So we can increase this even more, and then we get even further absorption. Or we can do something like we can add different layers of materials. For instance, we can add another material over here, and we can use something like this. For instance, then we have like a material which has a low flow resistivity, and this one has a higher flow resistivity. Maybe we can put this, let me shorten this so it is not as thick as we want. Something more practical, something like this, and maybe something like this. So we have so basically we have the same thickness of our structure. So we have 40 millimeters air cavity on both examples, and we have on one example we have used one layer of material. On the other example we have two layers of material, but with different flow resistivities, and we got different values. Of course, the transmission loss is not going to be that much because we're talking about materials for sound absorption. So this is the material. So this is the material without the rigid back, which would be what you would get from an acoustic measurement. So actually no, because the acoustic measurement we have the floor below. So we do something like this. And let's put this ISO and put like this. So this is more convenient over here. So this is an interesting example because we are using the same materials. We have our structure with the same thickness. So we have a wall with 120 centimeters, basically. Sorry, centimeters? No, millimeters. So we have a wall with 12 centimeters, which is basically around 4 inches, something like that. And we got different results for our absorption materials using basically different layers. Of course, we could expand this. We could do. I don't think it's possible to switch materials. But of course, we could. Let's do. Let me make another example. So I'm going to do another example. Let me open this again. Open structure 3. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, now we have. Okay, now we have 3 structures, and my idea now is to change the materials over here. So let's do this like this and do like this. Okay, so we have different materials. So we have the first example with 1 layer of material. We have a second example with 2 layers of material. But the material closer to the wall has higher flow resistivity. And we have the other example, which is not this one. Sorry, I think I got this wrong. Sorry, I messed this up. Let me do this correctly. Just give me one moment. Sometimes SOUNDFLOW is not very practical in some stuff. Right. So how I have okay. Let me just add this. Let me just add this like this, and I add another material. So here we have. Sorry, closer to. So we have 43 flow resistivity, and my idea is to change this. So we will have. So this would be like this, 43, and this would be the 10. All right. So this 10, 43. So you get the idea what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to basically create the same structure, but to exchange the materials over here. So on this example, we have the material with the flow resistivity, with a higher flow resistivity closer to the air cavity, and on this example, we have the opposite. And this creates different values of our absorption characteristics of the panel. So basically, this is very interesting because I have made the same panel with the same thickness, but using different materials with different combinations, when you get something quite different in terms of absorption. So, for instance, I would say that the green line, of course, is the more convenient for our recording studios and home studios, because now we can see that up to 125 hertz, we have 0.8 in our green line, and all the other materials are more reflective. So this means that we will have a much more precise. We would have a much more defined sound in our studio using a material that would emulate this green line over these options over here. Of course, the possibilities of this software are endless. I'm not going to talk. I mean, we can do so much stuff with this material, with this software. We could create even more. We could create even more possibilities. For instance, we could put the air cavity behind in between the layers of rock wool. So lots of stuff that we could study with SOUNDFLOW. I think it's an amazing product for this kind of possibilities, and I use SOUNDFLOW specifically for absorption predictions of different values. So this is it. We're going to do another video about perforated panels, and then a couple more about transmission loss, and then we go even further about talking a bit about different models and what it means to go really in depth with the software. Thank you so much, and stay tuned, and please subscribe our channel. Thank you.